So, hello everyone. I am Hussain Nagaria. So, I am a product engineer slash evangelist at Frappe Technologies, and we build awesome open source software. So, in this particular live stream, I'm going to do a live demo of we'll together build a Frappe. Uh, what do you say? A web application, full stack web application from scratch. We will take a design and we will implement it. We'll use Frappe framework and Frappe UI, the Vue.js Tailwind UI component library that we have. And cool. So you guys can ask any questions in the chat. We have some members from the team as well who can help you answer those. And if you have any other doubts too or questions, even after the stream, feel free to hit us up at support@frappe.io, or you can tag me on Twitter at Nagaria Hussain. So let's start. So we have 130 participants already in the chat. Yeah, Vue.js. We'll be using Vue.js and Tailwind. So for the backend, we will have Frappe framework. So let's start. Cool. So this is one of the many streams that we plan to do. And if you find this useful and you want more of this, please drop a comment below that you want more of this and we will get it done. So yeah, so what are we going to build? The first thing, right? So the first thing comes to mind is what are we going to build by the end of this session? So this are some screenshots from my phone, unedited. So as you can see, there is a widget and there is two other screenshots from an app called Actions. So it's like a paid app from Apple App Store, and it's tracking tasks and actions basically. So it's much more granular and specific than a plain to-do list, but it's helps me a lot in being planning stuff and tracking what I'm doing and what I'm supposed to do. So we are going to build a web version of this. So I took this, I built a rough sketch of what a desktop version of it might look like. And here it was a rough sketch ready. And then the next task was to build a high fidelity sketch. So I'll explain you what this app basically does. You create an action. So you have list of, so basically list are categories of actions you want to do. So general, some priority works. So suppose you want to basically track tasks for your design stuff so that you can put in a category. So those are called lists. And each action can have multiple tasks that you can do, or it cannot, it can also be an empty, what do you say, action. So you don't need a particular task to complete it. And you can set when do you plan to do it. So this is today. And you can set any reminders, and you can also set a due date. So suppose to 26th the live stream, and I wanted to basically complete all of this stuff before 24th, say, right? So this is an example of how I am tracking this particular live stream. So these three are checked off, and this are I will check off after this live stream. This is a app, proper native app. Okay. So this is the Actions app that I use, but today we are going to build a web version of it. And this is the design. So this design uses the upcoming Espresso design system by Frappe. So it's not live yet on Frappe UI. There is an ongoing PR that you can check out at github.com/frappe/Frappe UI. But we will use the current version and try to get it as close to this possible. And maybe in a future stream, we will migrate it to the newer design system. So this has just 2 pages. I've kept it super simple, but still we'll have to deal with a lot, and we'll see how Frappe framework will make it easy. So there is a schedule that shows you what you need to do today, tomorrow, and if there is some stuff that is overdue, so do live stream. And this is the progress of if it has multiple tasks in it, we show the progress. Yeah, you can do in React too. So IRC engineering asks, can we do it in React? Yes, we will most probably do a React stream too in the coming weeks. So the lists are general, college and design. You can use this button to basically add a particular new action to this list and this list and this list. And you can also create a new list basically. And when you click one of the actions, you can see you can mark it as done. You can delete it. Dates, just like the mobile app, I have like date and due date, and there are tasks that you can add. And there is a description that you want to add. Maybe you want to take some notes and whatnot, right? There are like toasts too. So once the user completes an action, it maybe throws a confetti. Maybe if we'll have time, we'll add it. So we'll see. So until now, great. Shall we proceed? So let's proceed to development. Okay. So the first step, right? What do we do? So in my local, I have bench setup. So if you go to frappeframework.com and do get started, you can see the installations instructions there. And like once you go through this on your Mac or Linux computer, you will be set up with a Frappe bench where you can create multiple sites. Cool. So I have bench here. Bench is running, and I'm in the bench folder in another of my tabs in the terminal. So if you see, I have a lot of sites here, but we'll start from scratch and create a new site, and then we will see what we get by default, and then we'll build from there. So let's start. Bench, new site. So all this, whatever command I am running can be found on frappeframework.com/docs. New site, awesome. What do we call it? Let's call it awesome. Let's call it actions. Actions.localhost. Okay. So it asks me for my root password and it's creating a new site for us. So as soon as this step is done, we will have a shiny new Frappe site ready for us to begin action. So in the meantime, let's discuss. So let's set administrator password and done. The site was created. Let's use another of the bench useful command to directly log into the site and browse it. Bench site, if I'm correct. I think, okay. So either we can do this or we can directly do. So I will go into my browser. I will do port 8000. And here you go. The site is live and I will use my credentials and save it. And this is the setup wizard that you get when you log in for the first time. And I will do India. Next, I will set up the first user. So this is your super user that has access to everything. Set my password and save it. And we are ready to go. So we have Faris on the chat. He will be answering, like he can answer a lot of questions that you may have regarding the design system, the Frappe UI, and the whole Vue.js and Tailwind thing we are going on in the new products as well. So Congro asked, so you didn't have to do bench start. I have like bench started in another one of my tab. So it's already running in one of the tabs. So bench start I have already run. Okay, so we are here and what do we do now? So we want to create some doc types, right? That power our app. So we will first tackle the backend and then we will move to the front end or the Frappe UI part. So let's start. And as you can see, what I usually do is like I open up a Google Doc and I write down what doc types I need and how they connect together. So let's quickly open up a new document and so actions, right? So the core entity or the doc type we need is actions. So there will be an action And action can have a date, a due date, and we also have, like, I'm showing you the whole process which I go through, like while creating or developing a new app or improving an existing app. And it can have a list of what do you say, tasks related to it, and it belongs to a particular list, right? Belongs to a particular list, or call it category. Make sense? So there is someone on the chat called Unknown Traveler, is not happy of the video quality. Maybe others can clarify if it is from their side. Cool. Let's like proceed. Belongs to a particular category, right? And then we have description, right? So there is a description that we need. So I haven't built this app before. I'm doing it live. So I just like planned a few stuff. So Adil says video quality is fine, good to go. Actions can have list of tasks and a status basically. So what happens? Status is basically what do you say? So this is a draft, and then when you mark it as done, it's marked done, right? So the status needs to change somehow, right? The status of this particular action. And then we have delete. So what this app does is it doesn't like delete it, it puts into archive, and you can like maybe restore it later. We will do the same. We will not delete it from our database. We will just mark it as archived or something. Cool. So we have, so I'm just mapping the UI to a particular doc type. So the actions, we have task, we have date, we have description, right? We also have a list. So list of task is different and belongs to a particular list, right? So this will be a link field if you know Frappe. And list of tasks, cuff, it's child table. So let's start. I'll go to build. Let's check if we need any other thing. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. So let's go into doc type, and I will add a new doc type. So doc type is like the core of Frappe framework, right? So if I have background noise, please just ignore it. I can't do anything about it right now, but let's hopefully there is no background noise. So I'll create a new doc type. Doc type basically creates a, so you just have to do it from the UI. It creates the database table. It's like adds the metadata, all of it. And as you can see, there is custom enabled, right? So we don't want that. We want to enable developer mode on this. So let's enable developer mode. Bench. So I don't remember the exact command. So the easiest way I will do is site slash actions.localhost, and I will open the site config in my VS Code. Developer mode 1. So this should enable developer mode, and I will refresh. Maybe I will get it. No, I need to restart bench. So let's see, because the conf needs to be loaded and it loads on bench restart. Okay, now the developer mode is enabled and we can see it, right? So I'll give it a name, action, right? As simple as that. And I will give it a module. Again, you can store it anywhere, but what is a module, right? So module is a particular place where the code needs to be stored. And it doesn't make sense to store it in any of these modules. These modules live in Frappe app, right? We need our own app that we can share with others. So let's go into terminal, bench, new app, as easy as that. Actions. I'll name it Frappe actions. Frappe actions, app descriptions, actions for all. App publisher, me, app email, mine. MIT is fine. Yes, workflow and unit test you can add. So it creates a GitHub Actions file for you automatically, but I will go with a no here. It's creating the app. And done. So let's install this app on our site. As this site actions.localhost and install the app Frappe actions. It's installed. Let's go back, refresh. Okay, it didn't get installed. Okay. So I know what's happened. The bench needs to be restarted. And okay, it's back. And now if we go into help and we check about, our app should be there. Cool. We are good to go. I'll give it a name action. And the module can be Frappe actions. So now you see the module. You can create multiple modules inside a particular app. So for example, ERP Next has sales module. There is buying module. There is HR, which is now separated into a separate app. So let's start. And Frappe actions and fields. This is the most important thing. So we created this document, right? Now we have to just give it a proper type of the field, and let's do it. So there will be a title of the action. So that is data, which is mandatory. So the title will be basically this: do live stream, right? So every action has a particular title. Cool. The next up we have date. So date will be date. Due date. I'm making them optional because some just want to note some things down and don't want to put date. That's what I do most of the times. And later on, I can go and add a date and due date. Cool. Then we have list of tasks. We'll tackle that later. Okay, what did I do? Okay, fine. Title document, description, and a status. Description can be, so I'm giving it HTML. I will tell you why when we go into front end, but we need to store HTML description. So formatted text, basically that will come from Frappe UI's text editor. And then we have next is the status. Status, we can have a select field because it will be one of the three, and we can give it options. So what options do we have? First, it will be in the, what do you say? Let's call it to-do state. So it's still a to-do. And next it can be incompleted. And the last one can be archived. One of the three states, right? And I'll make it mandatory, and default can be to-do. So default means whenever we create a new action, the default will be to-do. Let's hit save, and our doc type is created. So as you can see, we have like this, we can go into the actions list. We can create a new action. So give it a title, date, right? We get all this magic by Frappe framework that we can use in the admin interface. This is the desk. We can mark it completed, and let's give it a title by groceries, if I can spell it correctly. Let's save. So it's already like marked it completed. So let's go back to do, archived, all works. Now we need the other things that we have. Let me close this extra page. So for list of tasks, we need a child table, right? So for child table, to store the data of each child, we'll need a doc type, and then other is the list, which will be a simple doc type that will basically determine in the actions doc type which category it belongs to. So let's start. I will go to doc type form. Doc type form is your friend. List, or we can give it a name list. I hope nothing breaks, because okay, fields. So there will be just one field called title, and make it, or we can naming rule. So the name, so we can make it either unique. So every unique. So every category should have a unique title. That makes sense too. You don't want like two home list, right? So let's save it. Cool. So let's go to list. That's why I didn't want to name it list. So let's rename. Okay, let me rename this doc type to category. In the front end, we can call it whatever we want. So I renamed it to category. Go to category list. That's the fun, right? You make mistakes, you go back, you can fix it easily. Nothing like hell doesn't break. Cool. So let's add a category. I will give it a title of general. Save. And now we can go into our action, and we can basically category. Let's see how much we can go. Link category. And every action should at least belong to a category. So let's save it. I'll go to actions list and see buy groceries and link field. Does it magic? But what is this? So this is a unique name that was given to that particular uh, category by Frappe because we didn't define. So let's go back into category, and I will come back here, and basically one of the two things, I can either change the naming rule, or I can go into view settings. Title field is title to show title in link fields, and it will show it in the link field of action. So let's go here. So now if I go to category, right? It's like, let's make it better, or should we? We'll come to it later. For now, the links work. Cool. The third thing is like task, right? We need a child table of tasks. Action task. So an action can have multiple child tables, like multiple tasks. So we'll have a child table for it. Sorry, I got distracted by YouTube chat. It's fine. It's fine. Frappe actions. And so what do you think like needs to be done for a task, right? Just the task description and something to hold whether it is checked off or not. Let's do that. So we can do the description. Description can be a small text field because you never know. And let's make it mandatory or mandatory. I don't know. I mix it up most of the times, but fine. Description, and we have completed. I'll name it is completed, and I'll give it a value of check. So it renders a checkbox and save. I can try the new form builder. I'll show it to you. Wait. Give me a minute. So once we are done with I'll go back to actions, and now I can add a child table as easy as tasks. I'll give it the child table a name, and then table, and we need to give it an option what doc type you want to store the particular children side, each child. Action task. Let's go to action list again. Open up this. Tada! We have the child table here. So let's add. So I cannot see the checked. Let me check the edit. So it is there, but it's not shown in the grid. That's easy too. So let's go back to action task and is completed, and I will in grid view. Right. So now I can go back to actions, go to actions list, action, and is completed, is visible now. So let's add a new row. So buying groceries, right? So buy, what do you want? Plates, chips, buy cucumber, because cucumber is nice. Fine. And we can give it a category. So general is fine. Done. Not archived. It should be to do. A doc type is ready. You won't believe this is the backend model. We need to model the whole thing in the front end. And we did it in like, so underscore say it's not going to be to-do list. It's not a simple to-do list. It's like, you will see when we model it in the front end. So cool. Start. Actions is in to do, And we have tasks which are not yet completed. So you can like mark it completed as well. So that's the backend model. So we didn't need to write any code. You haven't written a single line of code, and all the tables and all the things are connected. In fact, the code was generated for you. So let's open up code app/Frappe actions, and you will see we have the code, the JSON schema that for the doc types we created, right? We have this. We're good to go. So just quickly, I will show you the new form builder, which is a drag and drop thing. So let's break into another column. We can bring the date here. We can status here. If Sharik's on the chat, kudos to you for working on this project. I will just add another section and move it down below. And move the tasks here and we'll delete. Okay, I'm just making the form beautiful. So category is mandatory. So I like to keep mandatory things at the front and save. Now I can go to actions list and voila, much more clear. Okay, now is the fun part. Let's start building the front end. So about 1.5 years ago, I created this project called Doppio. That's basically a CLI that helps you set up single page applications for using Vue or React in your Frappe apps, right? So the React part was contributed by Nikhil Kothari from the Commit company, as you can see. So basically what you need to do is you just do bench get app Doppio, and then there will be some commands available. So just yesterday, I published a new release that adds this particular command. So in a single line of code, you can add the starter Frappe UI project in your app. Let's do that quickly. I'll open up the terminal right here. Okay. Semantic server client. Okay, no problem. Okay. So bench. What was the command? Add Frappe UI. And even if you run with this, you can give it. Okay, add Frappe IO, no Frappe UI. Okay. So I will name it front end. Fine. The name of the app we want to add it to Frappe_actions. And adding Frappe UI starter to Frappe actions. It will install the dependencies as well for you, and it's done. Now you can start the dev server by running yarn dev in this. So it gives you a instruction and links you to the docs as well. So if you open up the docs, you have all the docs for Frappe UI, right? So all the components like ready to interact with you. Edit, right? Drop down, error message, everything. We will we'll use some of this in our UI. Cool. Let's go back. We will basically do one thing. So what did this command do, right? What basically happened when you did add Frappe UI? So it added a Vue.js project to your app with Frappe UI Tailwind CSS configured, right? And if you want to run this, let's just do cd into front end and yarn dev. So it starts the dev server on localhost 8080. But what we'll do is you won't go into localhost 8080 because then the magic won't work. Which site is the app installed on, right? In that, the magic will automatically happen and the proxying will happen. The Frappe UI will proxy the API calls and everything to your particular site because bench is multi-tenant, right? Localhost doesn't make sense. So we'll start Frappe what actions.localhost 80 80. Voila, here is the starter template. The buttons are styled according to Frappe UI, and we have some starter code for you to check out. So let's send a ping request and CSRF token error. So if you read the documentation of Doopio or the Frappe UI starter, you will find you need to basically in development mode, we want to turn off the CSRF checking, because in development mode, the CSRF checking is not done. So let's do that. Again, I will open my site config, code app/frappe, no, site/actions, site config. I will, let's check pull requests, no. So you can read more about the starter in the particular repo. So it's under Faris's repository, and ignore CSRF1. So there is a better way in frappeui.com. So let's check that out. Installation, and he gives you a single command to basically do this, right? So I'll go here. I'll replace the site name with, so ignore CSRF is set to 1. Actions.localhost. Cool. Now let's go back to our UI. Send ping request again and Pong. So our backend and front end are connected. So how is this magic happening, right? Just close it off. Don't see. I think the CSRF went away or not. Okay. So all the front end code you see, this is in the front end directory, and this app.view has a router view, which we'll discuss later. But the main thing is home. It renders the home view, and here's the code. Click to send ping request, right? So if we replace this, click to get Pong, and I go back, click to get Pong, right? Hot reload. So you can iterate very quickly. So what I can do is I will bring it like here, so I can see it side by side. Hope my text is visible, the code. Cool. Let's start. So as you can see, the script. So this is Vue.js. If you know Vue.js, you know though there is a script and there is template. So it's Vue 3. So we can basically go into here and set up, right? So this is the new composition API. So this won't work. This we can remove this. So I'm basically refactoring to. Let's not for now. We'll go back to it. But as you can see here, show dialog is basically, so if you click on open dialog, it will open a dialog. So this is all the components from Frappe UI, and this resources is basically what is the code you need to basically ping the backend. So when you click on the button, as you can see, at click, where is the button? This. So we are fetching the resource, right? And it is calling the ping method, the special method we have for checking health check of the site, and it returns a Pong, and the data is shown to you. So if you click on this, and data is Pong, right? Cool. And then, so let's start. Let's remove everything. We'll start from scratch. We'll delete this, and I will also delete this whole thing. I will go into script setup. So you can read more about this in what do you call the Vue.js documentation. Okay, so where do we start? We'll start by fetching this list, right? List. So we can start. Basically, we need to fetch all the actions from the backend first. Then we will basically filter based on the list, and we'll display it to the UI. Let's do that. So what can we do to get a list of things from the backend? So we have resource manager here. So what I can do is I can import create list resource from Frappe UI. So Frappe UI also has resource manager, which helps you talk to the backend in like a much more abstract and simple way. So you don't need to manually do frappe.call or fetch or anything like that, right? So let's do this. Const actions equal to create list resource, and we need to give it a doc type. Which doc type we want to fetch? So let's fetch action, and we can give it a limit too. So let's fetch 10, and we can do actions dot reload to automatically fetch it. And how do you know what's loaded and what's not, right? Whether it is error or not. So let's do one thing. I will simply render an ordered list here. Okay, my autocomplete seems to not work here. Okay. So let's just print the data for now, then we'll render it as list. Actions dot. So it did fetch, right? We didn't specify the fields. So it's just like frappe.getList. It fetched the name. So let's fetch whatever we want. Fields equal to, this is not recommended because it will fetch all the unnecessary details. And if your doc type has like thousands of fields, like harder to keep track and manage. So we can fetch particular, let's fetch the title. Let's fetch the status. So these are all the fields that come from your backend, right? So we modeled the backend like minutes ago. Status, we need, what do we need now? Description. Description. Right? Status and description is not there. Let's check. Go back to our form builder. Let me resize this, and description is there. Name is description. Why wasn't it fetched? Because maybe it was not. Okay. Action list. Maybe some migration issue. Okay, we can run bench migrate if we want. But let's go back to action list. Create a new action. Description is not visible. Okay, let's run bench migrate. So migrate will basically propagate our JSON changes. So we have action.json and we have description here, right? Propagate our changes to the backend. Live debugging, right? The site, what was it? Actions.localhost. Localhost migrate. Okay, let's see if the description field is back. No. Anybody, any idea? If you have any idea, just please let me know, because I'm unable to see the description field here. Let's go to doc type, action. Description is okay. HTML. Okay. HTML editor. HTML. That's why we were able to. Let's go here. So now description is there. Fine. My fault. Okay. So let's go back and go to our Frappe UI app, and let's save this or reload it somehow. Cool. So description is there now. Let's do 100 of this. So description is null right now, which is fine. We will add the description later. So title, status, description. What do we need more? Okay, let's check this. The list which it belongs to, right? Or the category. Category is also fetched, but we need category dot. So let's see if this works. And it didn't work. It should have. Okay, wait. Dot. It's not category there. I'm jumping back and forth between the backend and front end because all is like in sync. So we have action list and we have this tasks, status, state, category. Category has a title. Yeah, so Steve says because it's HTML. Yeah, I didn't. So the next is date and due date and cool. So I think we have everything we want for now. Let's go back to Frappe UI and let's see, still fetching this all things, and we can create some more action and see indeed it is fetching from the backend. So we'll give it title. What do we give it? Like go live. If you have some project and you want to go live, right? Let's create a new category, give it a title, product, save. Due date is like 30th of April, status, date, description. Okay, I'll save it. I'll go back, I'll refresh. And as you can see, we have two of these now, right? So let's start by rendering them in an li v4. So v4 is what we use for iterating over. Let me close the terminal. v4 action in actions dot data. Key is action dot title. Basically a unique key for each item, and we can render the action dot title and action dot status. Refresh, and something went wrong. So let's see what went wrong. I will inspect console. Action was accessed during, okay, action of actions. Cool. There was a typo. Yeah, Kongaroo, this video will be available after the live stream as well. Cool. So now we have this list showing up both in to-do state. Cool. So now the next thing is, let's build this UI a bit, and then we can basically render by the category they have, right? Okay, fine. So let's start. What I will do is I will, in the home view component only. So I will comment it out for now. And what I will do is I will import card. So let's do H2. So this all happens during live stream, right? So my autocomplete doesn't work, and like my audio was not working. That's the thing about live. So H2, and I want to give it lists. If you see, I'm just using the Figma reference, and I will see what 5XL black. So we have tailwind, right? So we can do this sort of stuff. Text 5XL, font black, text gray 900. Super. Now let's give it some padding. I will give it margin Y off. So what I can do in Figma is basically inspect how much I had given this. So seems 157 and I had given 160. So let's go with 160. So that will be my y. So 160 will be. So if you check Tailwind plugin shows me what all this means. 160 is there, my40. X40, sorry. So MX auto I can remove. I don't want that now. I will remove the max width as well that came with this. So this is too much for a small screen. So let's go with 20 for now. Okay, it's fine. We can have responsive and all this stuff. So I'm not going over like polishing stuff because we have like limited amount of time. So you can polish as much as you want after the stream. Again, we did the list and we need a button. So let's do a button. We'll wrap this H2 in a div and just bring UI development now. Nothing advanced. And I will give it a button. So this button the text say new list. And we got the button, right? But how is it styled and all? How is it working? So if you open main.js file, this is your entry point for the whole application, right? So we have already imported the button and registered it as a global component. So from Frappe UI, I have imported the button and it's like available everywhere without we needing to import it. Cool. So now if you check the documentation for button, we also have the icon which we can add. So frappeui.com. So I'm doing it live. I'm showing you how like I would go about doing it, and let's go into the docs of the button and let's check the code for menu. So we also have icon left and icon right. Cool, right? So we need an icon left. So let's do that. Icon left, which will be, so we use feather icons. So you can use any of the icons here. So I'll go to add. So there is a plus button and I can give that name to Frappe UI and it should have a plus. That's it, right? Now I can basically okay, we need this on the same line. So what I'll do again, some tailwind, flex row. So it will bring them to list and items center. And we will need, what do you say? Justify between. So it like basically remaining space is put in between those two elements. Closer, right? Now these are the cards. So let's get the cards going. So I will create another div here. I will, okay. Card I have imported here. I will do come here and use the card that comes from Frappe UI. Card, as you can see, it's visible. So it's like very nice experience, right? You code it here and you can see it like live. So let's give it a margin because I don't like this tightness. Margin top 8 pixel is fine for now. Okay. Card. So card takes some props as well. So you don't need to manually style the inner part of the card, right? So I will go into Frappe UI again. The docs, I will open up. So how do you take this away? And go into, where is the card? Maybe card isn't documented. Faris can confirm. But fine, because card isn't documented, what we can do Like what I would do is I will jump into the code github.com/frappe, because open source, right? That's the power of open source. Cool. Let's dump into the source and the components. Indeed, there is a card component. And what all props does it take? It takes a title, subtitle, and a loading. Cool. So hopefully we'll get it documented after this thing. Okay, it takes a title, and that's what we need. We need to give it a title. For now, I will hard code it to general. It's already styled, not centered, but fine, we can center it or later. But because design is not the priority right now, getting this thing working, the minimum viable thing, right? And inside this card, uh, we can have a div. Okay, I will complete it. Why is it shouting? Inside that div, what do we want? We want a list of these things, right? So we already had this, and I will paste it here. But for now, it shows all the groceries, and it's like not very much styled. So let's style it up. I'll do this. I will shrink this again so you can see the code. I'm continually formatting the code, so as you can see, like using prettier and looks good. Samir asks whether Vue or React is available. Vue or is React available? Yeah, React is available too. So there is no Frappe UI yet for React, but you can use React as a single page application. We have a very nice library by Nikhil Kotari called Frappe React SDK that's give you this kind of abstractions in React. So let's start. I will remove the status from here. And actually, we only want the actions that are not completed. So let's add filters. Filters, just like Frappe.getList in backend, right? So filters will be, we don't want status. We want status to be to do, right? So we only get those actions that are not yet completed. Okay, so Elson asks, can a brief overview of what's happened so far? So let's do a brief overview. And I'll drink water in the meantime. It's fine. So we started by discussing what we are going to build. We are going to build a web version of this popular app called Actions, and how I went about like rough sketching the web version and then designing it in the Frappe UI Espresso design library, the new library that's like coming soon. And all our new products will follow this sleek new design. And we started by modeling the doc types. So we modeled the list, we modeled the action doc type, and we also have a child table that if you go in the back end, I'm muting myself. Why? Okay. So if you go into doc type list, we have action task, action, and category. So action can belong to a particular category, for example, general, market, and whatnot. And then we have action task, which is like used to store the child table data for action. So if you go in the form and see it, right, you can see title, category, due date, status. This all is generated by Frappe UI. You don't need to do anything right now. So maybe I'm thinking of a live stream soon where we will use the admin interface as well, and like do a whole lot of live streams on building a business, right? Uh, micro SaaS kind of thing. Let me know your thoughts if you want to see that in the coming weeks. And I will use all of the Frappe products and we'll build a small software as a service together. I'll do it live every day if you want. But that's that. Let's get back. I think, and then we use the Doppio CLI to set up Frappe UI, and we started coding, and we have this components coming in from Frappe UI, and we are this data coming from Frappe backend. So everything is neat and tidy till now. Cool. So let's go back, and we need this button, right, to mark it ticked off. Cool. So let's do this, and what I'll do is we'll add a div or span. Okay, let's do span because span, then I will do a button. I can do this too because this button won't have any text, but let's check what do we need for only. So, right, icon is X. We need the icon. If I recall correctly, it's called check icon. Correct. We have the check icon now, right there. So let's again give it some styling. Class flex row items center justify between, and let's go. And we need to give some spacing between these items as well. So I will give space y. I love tailwind. This is why. You can go space y2, and there you go. Cool. And now we need to get the button working, right? So once we check it off, the status should be changed to something else to be completed, right, for this action. So let's do that. How easy it is, you'll see. Alt click. We will basically take this. We'll write a function below that we'll call from here. Complete action, and we will pass action dot name, right? And I will write this function here. So before reload also I can write, or after reload too. So let's do this. Const the name of the function, and this function, it takes a action name which we want to be marked completed. And what we do next, let's console.log for now and check if it is indeed called with the action which was clicked. I'll open up JavaScript console. So this is the browser that I'm using. It's called Arc. So as you can see, it's undefined. Why? Okay, because we are not calling the name here. Okay, we want name as well. And let's take it off. Yep, we have the unique ID coming, and we can ask the backend to mark it done. So let's do it. I'll go here. So let me check Frappe UI docs first. If I have something that lets me set or change a value for some field of a particular document. Resource. Okay, resource is there, but I don't want resource. There is document resource, and I can search for set value. Okay, there is set value, right? So here is an example that basically does what we want to do. Okay, so let's take this. So you need to create a resource, and you can set the values. So I will create a resource. I think there may be a better value, what do you say? Better field value pairs to do dot set value. Okay, let's see if this works. It should work. Set value. So directly on the list resource, I'm calling a set value dot submit, and I will give it a name, action name, and we want status to be completed. Let's see. Go back. I will refresh. I will keep the JavaScript console open because we never know what might go wrong. And I ticked it off. Let's see whether in the backend something happened, because in the front end it didn't do anything. It's to do. So it didn't get called or what? Action dot set value dot submit. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Oh, it was completed. Okay. The form didn't got refreshed. It is completed. Working. So that's done. And we want to refresh the UI as well. So I think real time. If we make this real time through, it updates in real time whenever backend changes. But I don't know if it works in local or not. Okay, in local it isn't working right now because I have some setup issues. That's fine. I will remove it. So as you can see, the when we refreshed, it went away. So we can do this. We can come here and cool. So we can again like take it off as well. And when we refresh, it's gone because in the backend we are like taking it off. If we refresh, gone, right? Let's again mark them as draft because we need some data to be modeling the UI in the front end. So they are back. Cool. So this is this, and maybe we can, after submit, we can do a success call if I remember it correctly. Okay, so there is an on success we can do. Just go through the docs once, and you will get a rough idea of what you can do. So I will actions dot reload. Let's see what this gives us. What happened? Okay, I missed a comma. Fine. And what's happening? Should go away, right? Huh. Should have gone away, but fine. So let's create new actions right from here, right? So let's create a button so we can like play around. We don't have to jump to desk again. So I will define a button here. Okay, so new action, and again we can get that plus icon very easily. Icon plus, it's there. Now on click, I want to add action. We can do this too. So add action is not there. It's complaining on the browser console. Fine, I'm adding it. Wait for it. So now we want, what do we want? We want a dialog to open. You fill in the required fields, and then we can create an action. So let's go. So Vignesh asked which framework is used for UI. We are using Frappe UI, frappeui.com. Right. So the styles and all are coming from there. If you check 100%, so I was zoomed in. If you check, this is the original resolution. And let's add an action. So this is as easy as actions dot. So there is an insert here. If you check, there should be an insert. Okay. And it takes insert dot submit, I guess. What we'll do is name. We'll see because there is, I am unable to find that documentation for it. Delete transform, everything is there. Okay, we'll see later. We'll come back to our UI. we don't want to give it a name because name is already there. We'll give it a title. So let the action come from, or where do we store? Where do we store it while the user is entering it, right? So what I will do is I will create a variable here, a reactive variable, basically const what do you call it, action equal to reactive. So we need to import reactive, import reactive from view empty unexpected token. Where? Okay, go away. Fine. So now we have actions is an empty object. So to begin with, we can have the title as empty. So what all required fields are there? Required is one, and we need to basically give it a category and a status. So status is default is there, so we don't need to give it. So we'll just give it a category. Category. I will hard code it to general for now. And cool. So when do we call this function? So I'll basically pass it here. Hope this will work. Cool. So when do we call this function, right? So we need to create a dialog and it should open up the dialog. So let's create a dialog here. Dialog. And we should model it to something, right? We should link it to something, whether it is shown or not. We should know, right? Add action dialog shown. I like comprehensive names that are like easy to read. Const is equal to ref, and it's false by default. So ref is another construct from view that basically gives you a reference to a reactive variable which can be turned on and off. And so in add action, what you can do, instead of doing add action, we can do is add. So show the dialog, right? So let's show the dialog. The dialog is there. Let's give it a title. Again, everything is in the docs. Add new action. Fresh to untitled. Title. Let's check the documentation again. Dialog. So it takes options and then you can like customize it a whole lot. So this has been updated. So let's give it options. It takes an object and then we can give it a title. So it also has like actions which you can provide, right? So let me refresh. New action, still untitled. Okay. Typo, add new action is here. And now we want some form fields, right, inside it. So you can have icon, message, like a lot of things you can configure. You can read more about it here. There is a nice illustration that shows you how you can compose a dialog in Frappe UI. Let's check this. Okay, we don't want this right now, but we do want some actions. So let's take this up and paste it here. Add. So appearance is basically the appearance of that button that will be shown, right? Confirm. Cancel. Label should have, okay, label got updated. I hit save, add action. So if you see, let me just expand this. It's responsive. Cool. So we don't need to worry about that too. So it works on mobile as well. Okay. Now what we'll do is So we'll call add action here. So, but we need some data, right? So let's get in some input from the user. Why not? So I will come out of here and we'll go back to our dialog, and we need some data inside the dialog, right? So let's see the docs. So 5, right? So we need to basically body content. So template body content. So I will copy it over and we'll paste the body content and we'll replace it with whatever we want later. But let's go back. Frappe UI, new action. We have the body content, right? So we don't need this. We need a div where we can place our form, right? Form. So we also have, as you might have guessed it, we have the input. So let's go back to input, and there is different types of input. We have checkbox as well. So let's grab one of this, or we can write from scratch too, because simple. So you can see what type of inputs we can have. So let's first import it and go back here, input type equal text, market required. So keep the dialog open so we can see this required, and placeholder can be title. Title. Oh, better than placeholder. I think you can give a label and it should automatically title. But placeholder also looks good. And action. Give your action a title. Digressing. Okay. So we now have title. We need some more input fields. So for the category, we can go with select, and let's see how we can do a select. So it's as easy as providing the options. So we want the label to be list, although behind the scene we are calling it a category. So again, I don't like tight things, so space y. Cool. India, not India. No, we want again, this we can fetch and make it dynamic, but let's get it to the minimum before like we close the stream, and we can continue as well. We can do uh, so general, and then the second is what did we create? Maybe we should fetch it, right? We can fetch the list and show it dynamically here. Let's do that. Let's create another list resource. Const, what is it? Categories. So we'll fetch all the categories we have in the backend as easy as, again, now you know the dance. Doc type is called category. We want the fields name and title. Categories dot reload. So I'm loading it as soon as. So I think there is an option to auto load. Maybe we'll do refactor it later. Refactoring is the harsh truth we all have to deal with, but it's like fun too. So we have general, but that's not fetched. So let's category options. Where will this come from? Let's do const. Let's do it like group the code where it belongs, right? So here I will do it. Will be a computed fields in view. It's a feature of view. So I'll import it. And I will, for now, I'll return a static list in whatever format it wants. So there is a better way. Okay, so there are two things. So you can pass label value or you can pass a string. So label and value we can pass. Okay, so let's pass. The label will be value will be the name of that category. Let's refresh, add action, general. So it's fetching from this particular method. And now what we can do is, if so we need, because it's a backend resource, it can take some time to load and we don't want to basically have problems, right? So let's, if it is not fetched, so if it is not fetched or is loading or there is no data, categories dot data, I think loading or dot get dot loading. Let's check the Frappe UI docs again. So go back this resource, and as you can see, loading. So true when data is being fetched, right? So we can basically list dot loading. So it breaks because we are not returning anything. Return an empty list. We already have general here. Otherwise, if it is loaded, let's take the categories dot map them. So data dot map. So we can also do a transform here. So it already comes in the data type we want, right? Let's do that. So all sorts of cool stuff built into, we can directly do data here. Right now it won't work, but when we transform, it will properly be formatted. So basically this is categories and categories dot map this. So we'll get category and we want to return label is the title of the list and value is the name of the list. What went wrong? Did I miss this? Okay, fine. Something is wrong. Okay, we didn't return it. So transform. We took it in. Okay, dynamically. So done. Dynamically from the backend, we are fetching this list and showing to the user, and it's, let's hook it up to our data that we need to send to the backend, right? The action. So we can do as easy as this v model action dot title. This is the title, and then again v model action dot what do you call it? Action dot get a, right? Okay, let's inspect console. To do my new action, add action. So we got something. Could not find category general. Okay, so what is it doing? So it's label, title, name. Maybe a bug because it should have worked because the value is the name. So let's do this. What we can do is, let's console log first whatever is going. Action dot, let's create a new action. Add action. So title was empty, category was general. Okay, it shouldn't be general because we passed the options correctly, right? We passed the data, it was transformed to this. So let's again, let me console log here that the data is being fetched correctly. So let's see what is the data being fetched. Target. Label and value, correct. Maybe Faris can confirm it. It's a bug. Or am I making something wrong? Because sure looks like cool. So like we have come this far. You have any doubts you can ask in the chat. We'll take a 1 or 2 minute break before we proceed. Anyone here? Because I can't see you in the chat. Okay. So Sharik has pointed out the mistake we had. So action dot title. So this was a mistake. And now what we should be able to do is we should be able to do actions dot insert dot submit action. Do this new action. Let's see now what went wrong. My action could not find. Okay, again I'm what's happening. Action dot title doesn't work. Okay, let's not waste time here. Oh, category has the problem, right? But again, are we doing something silly here? There is an so still returning the category. So as we were discussing, we can do another way to do this. We can basically go back. I'll go to category and set a naming loop by field name. So the name should be same as the title. I'll go back. So this is in the backend, I'm changing it. I'm deleting it. And okay, it won't let me because it has a delete. Product. Okay, product is unique. So let's clean up our database a bit. I'll delete this too. I will go to categories. So this is just ad hoc things. It should have worked, but I don't know. General. So now the name and the title are the same. So it doesn't matter what we pass from there. Product. So let's go back in our Frappe UI app. So now we don't need to map. We don't need anything. We just need the name, and it should just return c dot. Let's see if we are able to. Yo, new action got created finally. So it was created, and indeed, if we check the backend, category list, product. So how do we like check in the backend? So what's easier? Do we go into the list to check again what all are belonging to this category or what are in the general category? So what metadata power is like, you can go into doc type, you can go into category, you can go into link documents, and what you can do is like link a document. So I'll show you what this does. So basically we'll link to action. Link field name is category. And now if we go back into category and category list, general connections, it will show you all the actions that are linked to this particular category. So it's easier for the admins. So I'll come back here. I'll check the new action got created. And if I go back, I mark it as done. And in the backend, I go back. And if I check, it is completed. Totally cool. Awesome, right? New action, add action now works. And basically we can now iterate over the cards. Let's build a second page, and then we will come back and polish this up if we have time, right? So how do we build a second page and navigate between those two? Because if you see in the design, we have these two buttons, right? So this is one of the pages and this is second pages. So view right router is already like a peer dependency of what do you say, Frappe UI, and it's already in the starter kit. So if you go into main, you can see the router is being registered. And if I check the router source code, there is just one route that is called home. So I will add another route that has the path slash action slash. So what do we need? So we need a dynamic route, right? So for each action, this page will be different. This page will be dynamic. Makes sense? Because if we open this particular item, then that particular item's data should be shown, and so on and so forth. So we'll need a particular name for this. So this will take props is true. And what component do we want to render here, right? Which view component? Because we wrote our code till now in home.view, and it was like rendered at slash. So this is slash. But now we need to create another component. You can either import it, or this, you can use the import function to dynamically import it. It bundles it like in chunks. So it's optimized for some front end related jargon. Basically, it will bring down your chunk size and it will only fetch whatever is needed to the front end. Action detail.view. So let's go back. And right now it won't work because there is no import, like fail to fetch dynamically imported thing, right? So let's create this page. Okay, what did I do? Action details. I will go here. Let me commit. So we see what we are changing. And I'll go into pages and I will create a new page called action details.view. And I will export a template from here and a script. How do I move this around? Fine. So this template is, oh, you like there are 158 people still with me. So I think it's useful. I'm not taking it too long. Should I should continue. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Hope this is worth your time and you build awesome apps after this. So template, and I will return some H1 action details. So just we can check whether we are able to navigate in or not, right? Slash app. End tag is missing. Okay, fine. Let's fix it. Can't read properties of undefined reading URL. Where? Where is it? Okay, let's check our setup. Action details dot view. That's exactly what the file is called, right? Yeah. Then this should work. Action slash name. Props is true. What else do we want? Maybe we need to restart view because we added the yarn server. Okay, sometimes this happens. You need to just, because we added a new file and made some router changes, sometimes yarn, the hot reload doesn't work and we need to reload. And that's that. So we have the new page here. So how do we make it? So how do we access the prop here, that EERE, right? We need to access the name in this component. So that's easy as const props. This is all view. This is not like Frappe specific things. Create, not create, define props name. So here now props dot. So let's see if the name comes in, right? The name is here and now we can use it to fetch our data. But how do we navigate to this page first? Let's do this. I'll go back to home. I will basically, let's close this. Let's expand this and let me go back to home. Oh no, this is a problem with Arc. I don't know why it like searches before it. Okay, fine. There's an add an action so we can test action, add action, right? So we have the action. It's not like I want to be able to click it and view it in the details. So let's do this. Cool. So I will turn this span into an A tag, and now it should be clickable. I should give it a. So we can do href, but then the dynamic thing with the single page applications that you don't see a refresh, right? It just navigates instantly. That's what we want. Then we need to use the router link component, which you can basically router link view router link in the, this is the view router documentation, right? So you can see how it is used and how you can like basically navigate to a particular stuff. And what I will do is matching, getting started, router link. Here it is. So you just import it, and then, or I don't think we need to import it too because it's automatically there. That's what I assume. Let's do this. Let's do this. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, it works. So let's not go home. Let's actions dot title. We want to dynamically navigate to 2 slash actions. So I will use like backticks to format is slash dollar sign. This is JavaScript. Action dot, right? It went away. Action. Now I will click it and will be taken to front end slash. Okay, I missed a slash here. And now we have a multi-page application, right? Now you can like add a go back button here and like go back. So we can go into action details and add a button here. Router works. Go back. And I will show you one more way to basically route, import, use router from view. So I think the import is, my autocomplete isn't working, so I'm stuck. Programmatic navigation. Router equal to, either you can use this or you can use this. Installation, let's check installation. Getting started. Okay, view router, let's try this. It's able to import, so it's fine. So now what we can do is alt click router dot back. Again, const router. So this is the new composition API. If you are familiar with React, you can correlate. Back, right? Back. Back. Cool. Now we have navigation working, and now we can display all the details of this action by fetching it from the backend. Cool. I have some keep going. I'm enjoying. Cool, cool, cool. That gives me some confidence. Let's continue. Oh, Yusuf is also here. So Yusuf is the creator of POS Awesome, an awesome app on Frappe Cloud Marketplace. A good contributor to the ecosystem. Okay, so that's that. So let's use this name to fetch, right? Const. We'll use another Frappe UI magic to fetch the data because we don't want to send data between pages, right? So we don't want to send all the action details from here to here. We want to maintain this state like this because we are not pulling all the data there, right? We are only pulling the title and whatever we needed, the status. So let's do this. What I will do is I will import another cool function. Create document resource from view. No, from Frappe. Okay. So now what we can do is like const action equal to create document resource. And we want the doc type is called action, and the name is called what called not the name is name. Let's say actions dot reload or fetch or like their aliases as far as I'm. So let's on success, let's print it, right? So we have all kinds of hooks available to you. Data that is coming from this call of data is not defined. I'm doing too many typos today. What's happening? Okay, so we got the data. It has all the stuff we need, right? Cool. Now we can display this, use this in our. So let's go back. And I can't like show you if the server is slow. Basically, like it is local, so it's fast. So we can like navigate like too fast. We don't see a loading uh, indicator, we don't see the need of it, but sometimes it's needed. Also you may find like check out game plan if you haven't yet. Game plan is the app Faris has created the product, which is an asynchronous communication tool. So basically it uses Frappe UI 2, and so there is a lot of caching going on that makes it feel snappier. So everything is like properly cached and in the local storage of the browser, and the next time you reload the page it's like instantly, right? So it doesn't have to fetch, and it has like the auto refetching stale while revalidate, if you know that. Yeah. Okay, so action is here, and now we can like go to action and let's check our design. So we need the title and the category here. So let's do that, and I will wrap it in a div. Let's keep the go back for now here. We'll remove it later, but fine. So ideally, I should not copy the styles from here, and it should be applied to, what do you say, the main app.view. So all the pages get it, but for now I'll just copy it over so I get some padding. Let's say padding y4. Action details, we don't want the name now. So what we can do is to be safe, we'll check if action has some data, then only we'll render this. Otherwise, we will render a loading indicator. So let's check if we have some loading indicator in Frappe UI. Loading indicator is there because I know I have used it. So most common components are already there. Loading indicator. So I will do this. Loading indicator should be visible. Is it visible? Huh. What did I do wrong? Let's check JavaScript console.
VL.
No. VLC is not required. Expect default of undefined as undefined. Loading indicator is right, but let's see when creating undefined. Okay. Spelling is also correct. Let's use this one. But something is broken. Let's fix that first. Oh, loading indicator is there. I don't know why it went away, but we need else, right? If there is data, then action dot doc. I don't know where is data available. Action dot we, if it is not loading and it has data, we'll check. It's not loading. Dot get. So get is basically, get will give you. So we have no data here. Go back is there, so it means it's rendering. So let's do action dot data dot title. Sorry. So if you notice, this document resource returns a doc. So you can directly use this, right? Title, test action. Now we get it. And if we refresh and there is loading, for a split second, you see that loading spinner there, right? Cool. Now we have loading spinner as well. Now let's style this thing. Text 5XL, black, gray 900. Figma. I love Figma too. Text font black, text 5XL, text gray. Cool. Then we have two buttons. So now while designing, I didn't like care what button the user will use to get back. But I did care because I added this buttons, right? I'm forgetting it. So you can use this to go back. But again, I think a good UX would be to add a back button as well. Okay, that's another discussion for another day. Let's add again my favorite flex row item center, justify between, and there you go. So let's add an icon, right? Icon right, not icon left. Pun intended. Icon left is, so what's that icon called? Arrow left. That was a guess, lucky guess. Cool. Go back, come back, go back, come here. Okay, enough with the play. So Raman asks how to implement caching like game plan, right? So it is as easy as going to the component, the list resource, and if you want to cache this, we just need to give it a key to cache. So let's go into list resource, cache, search for cache, and you can see cache, right? Just give it and it automatically will be cached under this key. Now we go back, we reload. You won't notice the difference in this local app, but when you are in remote and the data is being fetched, it will automatically, like instantly, it will appear from the local storage and it will be cached. That's how easy it is to cache. So Umakant is asking, bench add Frappe UI is not working. So raise an issue with the version you're using because you need the latest 0.6 version to use that command. And if it doesn't work, feel free to raise an issue. I will help you out there. Cool. Now the participants are dropping. We have 137 now. We started with, I don't know, 200 or so, but it's fine. They will see the recordings, I'm sure. Okay, now we have this. Let's display this. Let's get the description and tasks working, right? Task description dates. We'll get them working and we'll get a new list working, and then I think we'll be done for the day. I'll polish it up and like push it to GitHub later for you guys to like check it out. But most of the meat of this stream will be covered by these things. So you see this beautiful text editor, right? How do we get this? So this is as easy as, so Frappe UI has this text editor, right? It's what you see is what you get. Visy, what is it called? So that kind of editor. So I can like do italics and bolds and underlines, colors, all sorts of cool stuff. So let's get this in our import it, and let's editor, right? Text editor. And basically, and what should we do next? Okay, let's get it here. Let's create another div. Inside that div, I will place this text editor with some default values. Yep, Raman, it will be shared on GitHub later. And mentions, we don't want that feature yet. And content is, okay, content should be const content equal to ref, empty string for now. Let's import ref from view. So if you notice this pattern, I'm spending most of the time in the UI and fixing my things and getting the user experience working. I'm not spending time in getting the backend, the authentication, and whatnot working, right? Because it's already there. It's already there in the Frappe framework. Everything you need to get up and running with a solid backend, emails and everything, right? So that's a good takeaway. Content, and the content should be there. Let's go back to Frappe UI and let's go to action. And editor.x is active is not a function. Okay. So let's refresh. There is some issue. Text editor. Let's check the docs again. View version 3.2 or earlier. Okay, let's check our view version. No, it's later version. We don't need to do that. Ah. Should have worked. Because I have like it is as is, right, except the mentions part. Okay, let's do this. Let's refresh and try to see what went wrong. Maybe this was the issue. No, because okay. Content. So how do we do it? Weird problem. Cool, we can get that working later, but let's add buttons to basically mark this as done or deleted. Again, I will do this here. So I'll add a div. So maybe after the live stream, I will write it in the README on what went wrong, and you guys can read it out. Or do you want a summary of this whole live stream as a blog post? That too works too. get you that too sooner. Is delete and mark as done. Delete mark as done. Icons want. In guessing, but might work. It works. Okay. Check, and we can give it some styling. Class flex row items center, and let's give it space x1. Okay, and we can give it appearance white, and class equal to text red 400, border red 400. Cool. So I just, like, you can customize the components as well, right? I customize the button as per my liking, so it looks closer to this. I'll do the same thing for this. I can do this. What did I do? Copy. Okay. Paste. Green. Green. Oh, looks not so good. Let's do 500. Better. Not better. Let's do 600. Okay, 600 is good. And now we can hook it up to easily. Easily we can do. But click, and so that you remember, it's a plain Vue.js project, right? So you can import your own stuff. Meta tags, there is index.html, and we also have a meta plugin in Frappe UI. Just go over to frappeui.com and you should see some documentation about it, right? Index.html, here you can add whatever you need. This is the file where all gets built into after the build step. I click actions dot set value dot, action dot, I think it's update, submit. We need the status to change to completed, and for the delete, we want the status to change to archive. Right, so hopefully this works. I think the API is different. Do this. So here is update. So doc type name. Let's do set value, right? Why update? Set value. Again, this text editor is causing the issues. Let it go away. So mark is done. I think in the back end, it's marked as done, right? So when marked is done, we should hide the buttons, right? We should refresh and hide the mark is done button. We can easily do that. If action dot doc dot status not equal to completed, right? That's gone. Let's create a new action. My task I'll go into it, I'll mark it as done, and instantly it's marked as done because it locally also it knows what the doc type is, and when you run the set value, it sets this locally as well as in the remote. So that's gone from here, right? Because we only showed this. Okay. Yeah, so Bronze asks, can we host the front end and back end on separate servers? It's like it depends, because then you have to basically enable cores in your Frappe. Um, you can use the site config to enable cores, right? It works. You just need to enable cores from front end as well in the back end. Yeah, dynamic meta. So I can show you an example of dynamic meta if you want. I'll point you to the resource, right? So there is this menu. Go into directives or plugins, I guess. Is it documented? Should have utilities, I guess. Yeah, this is the page meta utility. Should be able to post it on the chat. Yeah, I was able to paste it on the chat. So you can read here about like dynamic meta for each page, right? Cool. So Suraj has a good suggestion. So when we go into the network tab, we can see all the requests going through, right? In case of cache hits, the request doesn't go through. So my action. So let's add this, and one request went through, right? Insert. And now I refresh. I go here, go back. Just go back here and clear and go back. So it's like reloading. Maybe it's like socket issue or something, I don't know, but shouldn't reload. And you can like check this, the network tab, to basically find out what request is taking how long and if the cache was. And you can also check the cache. So you go in here and index db key value store, right? So you can find what all is cached right here. Cool. So we can also get the get list working if you want. So let's add some more action. Action 2. So it's like keyboard accessible, right? Action 3. Go into this actions. So we can do another thing. So if like already deleted, we don't show the archive. And we can do similar thing here. So if it's deleted, let's not let them mark it as done, right? So let's delete. And this. What am I doing? If is not completed and not archived. And not archived. Okay. Should not be completed and should not be archived. Or better way to write this, action dot dog dot status is equal to, you can do this too. Right now I can go back, I can check my other action, delete it, mark it as done, then delete it, go back. This works too. Somehow the cache is in pink. So I can add another action. So this was like a general overview of how you can build quickly build apps, because we don't need to design components. We were able to get this core thing of this app working. The backend was done is like 15 to 20 minutes, and then we were able to jump in the UI and get it done, right? So do you want to see anything specific right now regarding this, or do you have any questions? Please post it. So yeah, so like Rafiq asks, can we configure our own methods and call it from the front end, right? So resource, you can basically call your own UI methods from the from the backend, as you can see, right? You will be able to give it the URL of your uh, what do you say, URL of your whitelisted API, and you will be able to do all sorts of stuff to the backend. So if you can check out like Frappe Insights code base if you want. So it has game plan, insights, whatever. It will have lots of calls here and there, which you can check as an example while you are building your own app. Ramki Murray Kasmi, am I pronouncing your name? 100% incorrect. Sorry for that. I had a general doubt how to load the data from API into web form table. For example, I want to load in content table. It has fields of question choice. How to do it from web form? Uh, so I don't think child table is yet by default supported in web forms. Sharik can answer in the chat if he's here. So offline app again depends. Kusiv is asking, is it possible to build offline app with Vue.js framework? So are you talking about progressive web app? Yes, it is possible, uh, which have service workers. You can read more about them. You can read it about them. And yes, like if you want to build a native app, then offline is not a constraint that Frappe puts on you. You just have to write your own layer of how you want to fetch and when you want to fetch. So network is available, you fetch. Network is not available, you cache in local storage. That kind of stuff can work. So Rafiq Ahmedas, I mean, we have our own IoT application and our reports. I just want to replace the reporting part using Frappe. Is that possible? So yeah, Frappe has APIs. Frappe can call other APIs using they. You can have webhooks and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, totally possible to integrate third-party systems. So we have virtual doc types. If you like, if you go into frappe.io/blog, I have a blog on how to basically power a virtual doc type with MongoDB, which you can use to basically have the data source for the doc type, your own data source. Then does that answer your question? Let me have some water. Till then, you have time to ask questions in the chat. And those who are like leaving, thank you for joining. So we were not able to build a complete thing, but you get the idea. And I will either do a live stream on the new channel I'm creating, or to complete this, or we can have one more live stream after we are up with the new what do you say, the new Esprit design system in Frappe UI that is in the works, and then we can like replicate this as is. That is possible too. We are always like hoping for your like open to your feedback, and what do you want, what do you want to see next? Is this session helpful? Do we make it longer? Do we make it shorter? Anything. So Balkan has posted a form Fape. You can basically post a testimonial. You can Also share it on the chat right now if you have any feedback. How did you find this session? Before just like dropping off, you can write a comment like how do you find, what did you like, did you learn something? It will make it worth our time. So if you learn something out of it, maybe one thing, maybe two things, maybe a lot of things. Yeah, so you can also engage with the community in Telegram. So we have this Telegram group. So Rafiq, you should check out Frappe Insights. So Ramon says this session was informative. Good to know. Harsh, insightful and educational. Good to know too. And this is one of the streams, so things may have not been went as planned, but we'll do more of this and we'll learn together, and we'll do better sessions and we'll build better things and we'll learn better things. So feel free to reach me out at Nagaria Hussain on Twitter. And so yeah, Pitya Nilesh. So if I have two same route slash action in Frappe site and Frappe UI, which slash in render, how can we manage them? So I didn't show you right now, but if you check out Doppio, it automatically does some magic in your hooks.py to basically route all slash front end slash request to front end. So the HTML file. So for this, so what is a single page application, that setup is required. So you can check out Doppio ka readme for more. So Saad Chaudhary asks, when can we expect new version of Frappe UI? The PR is live. So the PR is like ongoing. We are transforming components one by one. Frappe UI, you can stay updated on when it is will live. So we plan to have the first cut early May. So this is the PR. Wasn't setting the sticky cookies. How do I have front end and back end on different servers? So bronze, I would suggest you raise a issue on Frappe React SDK GitHub repo. Nikhil Kotare is like there to help you. He has done it before, so he might be able to help you out with that. So if you have any feedback you want to see next, whatever, you reach out to me on Twitter, you reach out to like Frappe or me on LinkedIn as well. And cool. I would like to thank Spalkan too. She has been like helping me out behind the scenes. And we also had Sharik, Suraj, and Faris helping me out in the chat as well as here. And we had Janat as well for some time. Amaya Chaudhary says, I'm a beginner, but I learn a lot from you. So that's I wanted to hear. You are learning stuff and we'll continue to do this for sure. Palkan or Sharik or anyone wants to say anything to the audience? There are like 118 people still online with us. So that's a good number. I wasn't expecting uh, this much interest in this session or the audience it got up in spite of the technical glitch and the longer session duration.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the technical glitch, but I think this was an amazing session. And according to the poll that we have, 99 people voted and all 100% of them found this a good learning experience. So kudos to you.
Awesome.
We'll keep having more sessions since this is useful.
Cool. So yeah, check out the Frappeverse, check out other products, check out. So this is not a marketing thing I do, but I need to mention them, right? Because they are awesome and I like them. So I only mention or love things that I personally like. Tailwind CSS, Vue.js. Nowadays I'm doing React as well, so you can expect a React session soon. Cool. So Dilip, you are trying to post some code here. Just come on to the Telegram and we can, like, you can have the help from community members there, or we have discussed .frappe.io as well. So we'll also get the stuff working. The text editor wasn't working for some reason. So let me see, I can prepare a summary and like gotchas we had in this session and post it for you. Or like Palkan can email as well after a few days. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll close the session now. See you next time.